Hey, how are you doing? Bill DeWeese here from voice-over-training.org with my weekly DeWeese Directive. Every Wednesday, I send out via email if you're on my email list. And by the way, if you're not, I encourage you to get signed up because I send out a lot of useful and helpful, pertinent, current information regarding developing your voiceover career. You can sign up at voice-over-training.org. And then also, beginning today and going forward, we'll be releasing this companion video on my YouTube channel where I share with you tips, techniques, and strategies to help you in the growth of your voiceover career and to help you move things forward. And really, that's my goal. That's my mission: is to empower and equip, inspire you to be successful in your voiceover career. So, again, welcome to today's DeWeese Directive. Today is the first of a three-part series, and I want to talk about the three elements of a successful voiceover career. There's really, you almost have to think of it as three pieces to the voiceover jigsaw puzzle. And if only one of these pieces are out of a line or not in place, then it will prohibit you from achieving your voiceover goals and from moving forward and developing a full-time career as a voiceover talent. And whenever I'm consulting or training voice talent, if they're frustrated, if they're not being able to move forward, I can always track it back to one, if not more, of these three elements. So today, let's talk about the very first element. The very first element is your product. As a voiceover talent, when you think about it, anytime you're going out into the marketplace, you're shopping, you're looking for a product or service. The quality of that product is first and foremost before you get to, oftentimes before you get the price or anything else. Is it a good product? Is it worthy of your time and attention, of your resources, of your money? Same thing when it comes to voiceover. And so the first thing to find out or to determine is if you have the raw ability to become a voiceover talent. And if that's something you want to find more about, just simply drop me an email at voiceoverexpert@gmail.com. But once you've determined that, yes, you do have the raw talent and ability to become a voiceover talent, then it's a matter of putting a plan into place to get the proper training, instruction, and guidance to take your raw talent and to refine that into a product that you can market to agencies, to casting directors, and to clients. And it's learning how to bring yourself to different kind of read styles. And what I mean by bringing yourself, one of the early lessons that I learned, one of the first mistakes that I made, and this is after having even some success as a voiceover talent, I was continually trying to adapt myself to current voiceover styles and other voiceover talent that would be called upon as an example. For instance, I would get a script from an agent, and maybe this agent says, okay, we need a George Clooney type voice, or we need a Sam Elliott type voice, or we need a Kiefer Sutherland type voice. So I made the mistake of essentially trying to impersonate that person, which, I quickly found out that I was never cast for those jobs, by the way. The lesson learned is that it's important to find yourself in these styles. What is it that you sound like when you're giving the warm, compassionate read? What is it that you sound like when you're giving the excited read? What is it that you sound like when you're being the guy or the girl next door? What is it that you genuinely sound like when you're giving an urgent read, maybe a big sale, 30 to 40% off this weekend only at Sears? What is it that you genuinely sound like when you're exhibiting and you're expressing that kind of emotion and that kind of that kind of excitement? And so that's part of what developing your product is: refining those skills and finding out what you authentically are within these different contexts of these different scripts that you receive. The second part of developing the right product is your demo. The demo is everything when it comes to marketing yourself, because your marketing activities will essentially consist of getting your demo in front of as many decision makers, people who hire voice talent, as you possibly can. And it's not going to be, your looks. It's not going to be your personality. It's not even going to be your resume. It's going to be your demo that gets you work. That little audio recording that for a commercial demo is typically 60, sometimes up to 90 seconds long, Increasingly, it's becoming shorter and shorter, the expectations from casting directors and agencies. But it's going to be that recording that showcases you, that shows what your capabilities are. And this is one of the biggest areas that I see talent trip up on. They don't get the professional training. They don't have their demo professionally produced. Trying to produce your own demo is like trying to be your own psychiatrist. It's next to impossible to be that objective about your ability and about your talent. And I work with a lot of, broadcast professionals, TV and radio people. And, their big challenge is trying to break out of this read style, this presentational type, professional presentational, projecting type of read style that they've developed over years, sometimes over decades. For those who don't have that kind of background, who are, coming from different kinds of jobs where their job is not to constantly communicate publicly or professionally, it's learning to express these varying emotions within the context of that script. And it's next to impossible to do without proper guidance and direction. So again, this is the first of a three-part series. And what you have to learn, what I want you to take away today is that your product has to be in place. Do you have the raw talent? Do you have a plan in place with a professional coach or teacher to help you develop that talent so that you can take it to market? And do you have the product of a demo that you can use, which, again, that is what people will base whether they want to use you or not, or whether they'll even give you a chance at an audition or not, will be based on the quality of your demo, on certainly your performance, but also on the production quality. How professionally is it recorded and mastered and mixed? And the entire product of your demo is really everything when it comes to marketing yourself. Are those things in place? Are you finding yourself stumbling in that area? Or does what I'm talking about confuse you and you're really not even sure what the next step is? Well, if so, just drop me an email at voiceoverexpert@gmail.com with your questions. I'll be glad to help you out in those areas. But as you look forward to launching or moving your career forward, perhaps you're just starting, perhaps you're stumbling, in the dark, having your product in order is first and foremost. Make sure to join me next Wednesday when I'll share with you the second of the three pieces of this puzzle in making sure that you develop and that you experience a successful voiceover career. Hey, as a side note, I want to mention that my VoiceOver Fast Track, which, by the way, is a small group online course that I launched earlier this year, in answer to the question, and this is the question that I'm asked probably most often, and that is, what do I do now? I want to be a voiceover talent, so what's my next step? What do I do next? Well, the VoiceOver Fast Track is a 4-week course that I developed to answer those questions and to help you develop the skills and the understanding to be able to be a successful and to build a solid foundation to be a successful voiceover talent. The course has been wildly successful. I'm actually booked through the rest of 2013. And so my next class won't even launch until January of 2014. But because of the demand and because of my desire to keep the class small so that there's a lot of personal interaction, a lot of Q&A, a lot of opportunity to read and get feedback on your reads, I'm launching a second class. So in other words, instead of having one class every Thursday night, I'll be doing 2 classes at different times so that regardless of your time zone or your schedule, hopefully there will be a class that you can participate in. My January Fast Track class will be the last 4 Thursdays of the month. The first night will be Thursday, January the 9th. And again, there'll be 2 classes, 6 participating students max for each class. The first class will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 Central. Second class will be at 9 Eastern, which will be 8 Central. So again, hopefully there's a time in there that works well with your schedule, but I will begin signing up students for that within the next couple of days. So if you have interest in that, you want to get in before they fill up, simply drop me an email at voiceoverexpert@gmail.com. I'll talk to you soon, and I wish you great success.